Look around you. The car, the couch, the phone in your hand. You think you know what they cost. You don't. The real price of everything you buy on credit stays hidden until you try calculating the internal rate of return on debt repayment. It's the one number banks understand and sellers pray you never run. Over the next few minutes, I'll show the true cost of buying on credit, the opportunity cost most people ignore, why killing high-interest debt can beat the stock market, and how minimum payments stretch a car loan for decades. The first number will disturb you. It started with a car, $32,000. The salesman never mentioned that total. He talked about something else. One sentence repeated like a lullaby. What does that come to per month? $540 a month. It sounded reasonable. I signed. What I hadn't seen, the monthly payment isn't a price. It's a curtain. And behind that curtain, a second, much heavier number was waiting. 72 payments. I pull out the calculator. $540 times 72. The result appears $38,880. Nearly $7,000. More than the sticker price. And I hadn't even begun to count the real cost. $7,000 in interest. I was angry. Then I learned something worse. That interest wasn't the real cost of the car. It was only a fraction of it. The rest was invisible. I wanted to understand. I asked a simple question. What if I hadn't financed that car? What if I'd kept those $540 every month? Not to spend them carelessly, to invest them month after month. $540 a month, invested at 8% a year for 6 years. I typed the numbers in. The screen shows a total I didn't want to see. And suddenly, my car no longer cost $38,000, $49,000. That's what those payments would have become. The car didn't cost me its price. It cost me everything that money could have built while it flowed somewhere else, month after month. Economists call it opportunity cost, the return you give up by using your money here instead of there. And no one in any store will ever show it to you. Why? The answer is uncomfortable. Because an entire system feeds on your opportunity cost. When you finance, your future return doesn't vanish. It simply changes owners. It moves from your pocket to theirs, quietly, legally. And then an idea struck me. If the money I give away has a hidden return, then the money I pay back has one too. Paying off a debt would be an investment. I just had to prove it. To prove it, I imagined two versions of me. Same salary. Same craving for a $2,400 couch. The first Richie finances it over 12 months. The second waits, pays cash, and invests the difference. The first Richie has his couch tonight. He feels clever. Why wait? The second goes home empty-handed and sits on the floor. For 1 year, one of them looks right. Guess which one? 12 months later. The first paid $2,400 plus $310 in interest at 24%. The second paid $2,400 in cash and invested his monthly amounts. Both have the same couch, but not the same balance. Now fast forward 10 years. The couch is worn, forgotten, but the gap between the two Richies hasn't disappeared. It has grown, silently, every year, and the final number is almost absurd. Over 10 years, that small $310 in interest, repeated purchase after purchase, plus the return lost around it, dug a gap of several $1,000s for one couch, just one. Now imagine a whole lifetime of purchases. The second Richie wasn't richer by luck. He had earned a precise return by refusing debt. But how much, exactly? To answer, I needed one single tool, the one bankers use against you. Every purchase carries two price tags. The first, you read, the price. The second is sewn inside, invisible. It shows the return that purchase will cost you or earn you. And it has a name. That name is the internal rate of return, the IRR, a single percentage that captures everything: interest, time, timing, lost money. Pros use it to judge buildings. I was going to use it on my debt. Why one number? Because you can't compare a debt at 24% and an investment at 8% with the naked eye. You need a common unit. The IRR is that unit, the secret language of money. And when I applied that language to my debt, it said something my banker had never told me, something that flips everything we believe about saving and investing. Brace yourself. Here's the idea, simply. Calculating the internal rate of return on debt repayment means measuring the exact return you earn by paying, not a hoped-for return, a guaranteed one. And that's where everything tips over. I took my worst debt, a card at 24%. I ran the calculation. The result would redefine the word invest for the rest of my life, and it fit into just two numbers. The result appears 24%. Paying off that card earned me a guaranteed return of 24% a year. Not hoped for, not average, guaranteed. At that very moment, my stock fund promised me, maybe, barely 8%. Read that again. While I proudly invested at 8%, I was carrying a debt costing me 24%. I earned with one hand, bled with the other three. And I thought I was clever. The worst was still to come, and that 24% is still underestimated. My investment at 8% will be taxed. The return on my repay debt is tax-free. To match it in the market, I'd have to aim for well over 30% a year. No serious fund promises 30% guaranteed, risk-free every year. None. Yet that performance was right there, within reach, hidden in my debt. I'd ignored it for years. Why? The answer hurts. Because the sticker price is a lie. It never shows the second tag, the return the purchase steals from you. Killing a debt isn't a chore. It's the best investment within reach. That's the secret. Once you understand that truth, there's no going back. I laid all my debts on the table, card, car, student loan, and I calculated the IRR of each one. What I saw froze me. 3 debts, the card at 24%, the car at 9%, the student loan at 5%. So I started calculating the internal rate of return on debt repayment for each one. 3 guaranteed returns. The question left, which to attack first? The card at 24% screamed, "Start with me." Obvious. But looking at my statements, I saw something the IRR alone didn't show. A smaller debt was actually costing me far more. On that card, I was paying the minimum, and at the minimum, a $6,000 debt at 24% takes over. 20 years to die, costing nearly double in interest. The minimum was stretching the bleeding out, so I tested something else. What if I added just $200 more a month to that card? The IRR of that precise move exploded. The number that came out made me put my pen down. Look, those extra $200 killed the debt in under 3 years instead of 20. They spared me thousands in interest. The return on that simple move beat everything the market could offer me. I'd finally grasped the power of the IRR. But one question remained. Not all my debts were equal. In what order should I destroy them to win the fastest? There was a rule and an exception. The rule is simple. It starts with calculating the internal rate of return on debt repayment for every balance, then ranking them highest to lowest. Always attack the highest return first. Mathematically, it's unbeatable. For me, the order became clear. Card at 24%, then car at 9%, then student loan at 5%. Except that last one, at 5%, raised a real question. Should I even pay it off? Not so sure. Here's the exception. When a debt's IRR falls below the market's expected return, paying it off is no longer the best move. At 5%, my student loan repaid earned less than my invested 8%. The market took the lead back. It all comes down to one line. Above the market return, killing the debt wins. Below it, investing wins. That line settles everything. But it hides one last trap almost everyone forgets. The trap is risk. The market's 8% is never guaranteed. The return on a killed debt always is. At equal return, certain beats uncertain. So a debt at 8% beats an investment at 8%. I finally had the full system. Rank by IRR. Kill the highest first. Keep debts below the market, risk adjusted. With that, I stopped enduring my purchases. I started to read them. Today, I look around me again. The car, the couch, the phone. But I no longer see prices. I see returns. Each object whispers what it truly cost me. Before every purchase now, one single question. What's its hidden IRR? Pay cash or finance? And above all, is there a debt whose payoff would earn me more than this purchase? Often, the answer changes everything. I started with the card at 24%, 14 months to bring it to zero. Each payment a guaranteed return no one could take from me. For the first time, I wasn't enduring my debt, I was using it, and something unexpected happened. By killing my most expensive debts, I freed up hundreds of dollars a month. The interest money now flowed into investments. The machine had reversed in the right direction. The true price of anything is never on the tag. It's in the return it costs you or earns you. Make calculating the internal rate of return on debt repayment a habit, and no seller, no bank can ever hide that number from you again. I didn't earn more money that year. I simply stopped losing it without seeing it. The tool the banks once aimed at me, I now aim at every dollar, and it finally works for me. Before you go, one honest question. When did you last check the real return hidden inside your debt? Not the balance, the return? If your answer is never, the banks are still aiming that number at you. Tell me in the comments which debt you'd kill first. I read every reply, and if this changed the way you see a price tag, there's a whole game to this. Treating your money like stats you can min-max. That story is coming next. Subscribe so the tool finally works for you, not the banks. I'll meet you there.